Greetings everyone. Dr. Shishni presenting here on the topic organization. The topics which I'll be covering today will be on organization, definition of organization, importance of organization, organization structure, principle of organization, authority of delegation, and centralization and decentralization. Starting from which definition of organization? Organization behavior is concerned with people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and actions in setting up a work task. The organizational behavior applies the knowledge gained about individuals, groups, and the effect of structure on organizational members' behavior to make organizations more effective. Definition of organization based on the goals. Under goals, let's describe the goal of an organization. Describe systematically how people behave under a variety of conditions. Understand the reasons behind the employee's action in regard to certain problems or issues. Predict and control. Predict. OB studies are to predict which employees might be dedicated and productive and which employees might cause problems. Control. Managers are to make an impact on employee behavior, skill development, team effort, productivity. This is to ensure the organization can pursue the goals and objectives. Evolution of organizational behavior. There are various approaches for the evolution, and the first one is scientific management approach, developed by Frederick in the beginning of 20th century. This approach assumed that the employees are motivated largely by money and the importance of giving monetary incentives to efficient workers. Bureaucratic approach. Max Weber proposed a bureaucratic form of structure which would work for all organizations. The approach emphasized on the organization structure, division of labors, laws, and orders, etc. Hawthorne approach. The studies brought out a number of findings relevant to understanding human behavior at work. The approach emphasized on the influence of social factors and group on the individual behavior. This approach also helps us to usher in a more humanity centric approach to work. Evolution of organizational behavior. There are few basic organizational behavior models as being shown, under which the first one is autocratic, custodial, supportive, collegial system. First one, autocratic model. This model depends on power, and an employee who does not follow orders will be penalized. What is paramount for employee is obedience to a boss, not respect for a manager. The boss pays minimum wages because minimum performance is given by employees as a result. The custodial approach. This approach depends on economic resources and focus towards money to pay wages and benefits. Since employees' physical needs are already reasonably met, the employer looks to security needs as a motivating force. If an organization does not have the will to provide pensions and pay other benefits, it cannot allow a custodial approach. The supportive model. The supportive model depends on leadership instead of power or money. Through leadership, management provides a climate to help the employees grow and accomplish, in the interest of the organization, the things which they are capable. Employees will take responsibility, develop a drive to contribute, and improve themselves in management gives them a chance. Management orientation is therefore to support the employee's job performance rather than to simply support employee benefit payments. The collegial model. The collegial model depends on management building a feelings of partnership with employees, people working together cooperatively. Managers are seen as joint contributors rather than bosses, and the coach that builds a better team. As a result, the employee's response to the situation is responsibility. The psychological result of the collegial approach for the employee is self discipline. Employees usually feel a degree of fulfillment, worthwhile contribution, and self actualization. The system model. Since employees are being asked to spend many hours of their day at work, they want a work context that is ethical, infused with integrity and trust, and able to provide an opportunity to experience a growing sense of community among co-workers. To accomplish this, manager must increasingly demonstrate a sense of care and compassion, being sensitive to the needs of the diverse workforce with rapidly changing needs and complex personal and family needs. Therefore, employees go beyond the self discipline of the collegial approach until they reach a state of self motivation in which they take responsibility for their own goals and actions. Fundamental concepts of organizational behavior. The fundamental concepts can be divided into, namely, the nature of people and the nature of organization. Under the nature of people, a whole person, individual differences, motivated behavior, human dignity. Under which, individual differences. People are different not only physically, such as sex, age, height, weight, complexion, and so on, but also different in their psychological traits, for example, intelligence, attitude, motivation, personality, needs, and perception. A whole person. Organizations need to recognize that an individual not only comes with skill and intelligence but also a personal life, needs, and desires. A person's personal life cannot be separated from his work life since people function as human beings. Motivated behavior. Motivation is essential for proper functioning of organizations, and an organization can show its employees how certain actions will increase the need for fulfillment. A path toward increased need fulfillment is a better way of enriching the quality of work. People are motivated not by what others think they ought to have, but what they themselves want. Human dignity value of a person. People want to be treated with care, dignity, and respect and are increasingly demanding such treatment from their employees. They want to be valued for the skills and abilities and to be provided with opportunities to develop themselves. Principles of organization. First principle, division of labor. Division of labor is also called the principle of specialization, was first highlighted by Plato in 350 BC when he compared the workmanship of people in small cities with their counterparts in big cities. The application of division of labor principle can be found in contemporary organization. The assembly lines in automotive manufacturing have workstations in sequence, and on each workstations a worker performs a highly specialized task. For an example, on one workstation a worker fits the headlights to the chassis of the car which comes before his workstation on moving conveyor. Principle 2, delegation of authority. Authority refers to the rights inherent in a managerial position to give orders and accept the orders to be obeyed. Delegation of authority is the process by which managers allocate authority downward to the people who report to them. The scalar principle. The scalar principle states that there should be a clear and unbroken chain of command or line of authority from the top level of hierarchy to the lowest level by including all intermediate levels. If deprived of such an unbroken chain of command, the benefits of delegation would not be reaped to the fullest possible extent by the organization. Unity of command. Unity of command is another classical management principle which recommends that every individual in the organization should report to a single boss. This is necessary to avoid confusion on the part of individual if he or she receives directions and orders from more than one superior. The situation may get even more complicated if the individual receives at times conflicting instructions from his or her boss and also from the boss's boss. Principle of objective. The organization as a whole, as well as its parts, must have a clear cut idea from objectives of an enterprise. Every organization is evolved from specific purpose, it does not exist in a vacuum. Every part of the organization and the organization as a whole must be geared to the objectives laid down for the enterprise. This will secure unit of objectives. As division of labor and specialization is already being explained in the last few slides. Principle of unity of efforts. For the good performance of different activities, the enterprise itself is divided into number of divisions, departments and sections. Though there are different divisions, departments and sections carrying out specific activities, all these activities ultimately aim at bringing the unity of efforts. Coordination is necessary there to move in the direction of the given objectives. It will avoid bottlenecks, frictions, conflicts and rivalries. Principle of authority is being previously explained in the last slide. Principle of responsibility. A superior is always responsible for success or failure of his subordinates. It means the responsibility can never be delegated. Though authority can pre-collate the upwards to downwards. In any organization, the superior is held responsible for the actions of his subordinates, and the subordinates are accountable for the work of their superiors. Principle of definition. There are authority responsibility relationship in an organization. The scope of authority and responsibility must be spelled out in definite terms. Everyone in the organization must be clearly known what his authority is and what his responsibility is, and how he or she stands in relationship with others' positions in it. Principle of coextensiveness. The authority and responsibility must be coextensive and coterminous. For the discharge of responsibility, and subordinate must be given an adequate authority. Authority without responsibility will make him irresponsible, while responsibility without authority will make him impotent. Responsibility can be carried out effectively only with adequate authority. Span of management. Span of management is the number of subordinates that a manager can supervise. The basic questions surrounding the span of management are: how many subordinates should be assigned to a superior? Should the organization structure be wide or narrow? Types of organization structure involved in each instance. Principle of continuity and flexibility. Organization is a continuous process and flexibility in the workflow is important. Types of organization structure with examples. First one is hierarchical structure. In hierarchical structure, organization structure, employees are grouped and assigned a supervisor. It is most common type of organization structure. Employees may be grouped together by their role or function, geography or type of products or services that they provide. The structure is often depicted as a pyramid because there are multiple levels and authorities with the highest level of leadership at the top, their direct employees below them, and so forth, and few of the benefits and the potential disadvantages which are being shown. The example of hierarchical organization chart, we can see shareholders, board of directors. Between the shareholders and the board of directors, you can find an inspection. Between the board and the director, there is a board secretary. So this is hierarchical organization structure which is being shown in a form of deputy general manager, VP. All of them are reporting to the director, and so on and so forth. VP, there are few people who are reporting to the VP, human resource director, office manager, marketing manager, and so on being seen. Functional structure. In organizational functional structure, the organization is divided into groups by roles, responsibilities, or specialities. For example, within an organization, you may have a marketing department, finance department, and sales department, with each overseen by a manager who also has a supervisor that oversees multiple departments. A functional structure can be beneficial because departments can trust that their employees have the skill and expertise needed to support their goals. For an example, as you can see, board of directors, CEO, and then you have sales and marketing. Under sales and marketing, the functional structure is field sales force, e-commerce and direct sales, customer service. Same when it comes to production, component manufacture, product assembly, quality control. So this is about functional structure. And the next form of structure is matrix structure. The matrix organizational structure resembles a grid in which employees with similar skills are grouped together. and report to more than one manager. This often includes a functional manager who oversees projects and their progress, and a product manager who is responsible for the company's strategy and the success regarding product offering. The matrix structure is typically used by large multinational organizations and promotes the sharing of skills and knowledge across departments to complete goals. For an example, matrix reporting structure, as you can see, team lead A, team lead B, and but at the hierarchy there is an IT, finance, HR, and marketing. IT department, basically IT team 1 is also reporting team lead A and also for the IT. Same with the finance, HR, and marketing. Flat structure. In the flat organizational structure, most level of middle management are moved, so there is a little separating staff level employees from upper management. Employees are given more responsibility and decision making power without the usual hierarchical pressures or supervision, and can often be more productive. This type of structure is mostly used by small companies and early stage startups because they often have fewer employees and projects to manage. And it is also called as horizontal structure. Let's take for an example CEO, under CEO, marketing, production, human resource, information technology, customer service. All are reporting to one, that is CEO. Divisional structure. In a divisional structure, organizations are split into divisions because on based on the specific product, services, and geographies. For this reason, the structure is typically used by large companies that operate in wide geographical areas or own separate smaller companies. Each division has its own executive leadership departments and resources. Taking for an example, after managing director, the next one is cosmetics. Under cosmetics, production, purchasing, marketing, finance. Network structure. In a network structure, managers at an organization will coordinate relationships between both internal and external entities to deliver their products or services. For an example, the retail company will just focus on selling clothing items but will outsource the design and production of these items. In a partnership, other companies, this structure focus on more of open-ended communication and the relationship that than hierarchy. And this is all about network structure. Example, over here I have a business core, offshore manufacturing, furniture design studio, and board of entry and national accounting. Now coming down to the line structure, in line structure, authority within the organization flows from top to bottom. There are no specialized and supportive services. It is one of the simplest types of organization structure. Now this is about a pure line organization, general manager and sales manager, assistant sales manager division. Same thing for division 2, division 3, and division 4. Team based structure. In a team based structure, organization structure, employees are grouped into a skill based team to work on specific tasks while all working towards a common goal. Team based structure you can see as over here, executive team, shared services. Under that shared teams, management team business unit 1, management team business unit 2. This is about team based organization. Circular structure. Circular organization structure relies on hierarchy to depict uh, basically a higher level employees within the inner rings of a circle and the lower level employees along with the outer rings. As for an example, in the center you can see CEO. Then on the next circle you can see CMO, VP People and Culture, and VP Sales, VP Engineering, and VP Product and Management. Process based structure. It is a process based structure. The organization is designed around the flow of its process and how the duties performed by its employees interact with one another. Instead of flowing from top to bottom, this structure outlines services from left to right. As you can see, process based organization structure: leadership, process 1 research and development, process 2 customer acquisition, process 3 supply chain. What is span of control? Span of control can be defined as the total number of direct subordinates that a manager can control or manage. The number of subordinates managed by a manager varies depending on the complexity of the work. Now, coming down to the various advantages and disadvantages of having a span of control. When it comes especially in the narrow span of control, the manager can supervise each of the subordinates, and then the nature of work, and then effective communication between, and then the more layers of hierarchy of management, etc. This is about centralization and decentralization. Centralization is said to be a process where concentration of decision making is in a few hands. All the important decisions and actions are at the lower level, and all subjects and actions of the lower level are subject to the approval of the top management. Decentralization, on the other hand, is a systematic delegation of authority at all levels of management and in all the organization. In a decentralization concern, authority in retained by the top management for major decisions, and then the framing policies concerning the whole concern. Rest of the authority may be delegated to the middle level and lower level management. And well, thank you for patiently listening to me. Have a great day. Bye. Take care.